Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today we are doing a colorful sister's apartment. And by that I mean it's a very colorful apartment meant for two very loving, very lucky sisters. I estimated they were probably like around 20 only, so they had just moved out of their parents' house. They found a stable job, maybe, and they love each other very much, which is not common for siblings. Trust me, I know. And at first, you can see I'm having a bit of difficulty seeing what CC to use. I wanted to start with the bedroom because I thought it would give it the build enough personality. Unfortunately, I was wrong, and it took me a very long time to figure out what I wanted this apartment to be about. I took large inspiration from Simlicy because she does love doing apartments, and I tried doing it. So I fiddle around with the bathroom and bedroom layout quite a bit, especially the wall between the two. And the layout of the bedroom was also pretty tough. But after I got that all sorted out, I had little to no problems, which is pretty nice when you just see it all come together in the end. It was pretty satisfying. But I really enjoy this build just because normally I go with neutrals with a little pop of color or like one color theme, but as you're gonna see, I start mixing up the colors, making it completely irregular, no pattern at all, just a bunch of colors thrown together, but not too many colors where it looks gross. I end up putting a bookshelf there to separate the bunk beds and the desk area a little, but it's not as big as that one. Uh, I think my favorite room are the two entry rooms. I will say I've never lived in an apartment. I'm not even old enough to move out, not even close. But I've seen a lot of like apartments, if you want to say it like that. I've seen pictures and stuff, and I just started imagining what the entry room would look like. Um, and I think it turned out pretty good with a little bit of their own spice, and of course the requirements that the owners of the apartment had there. So you can see that I haven't exactly put a lot of clutter in. Unfortunately, I did not go back in and clutter up the bedroom. However, most of the rest of the house will be kind of cluttered. Uh, now, before this build, I had downloaded a bunch more CC, like the Oak House collection by Pierre Sim, and a bunch of 6am stuff. So if there are any particular pieces that I go on about, I will probably link them down in the description. So keep an eye out for that. But we're starting on the kitchen, living room, dining room area. I really enjoy open plan stuff, so this is my vibe. I knew that I probably wanted like some sort of platform step up to the kitchen, which is behind that TV stand, and I think it turned out pretty good. Although the tiles took me a long time to figure out. And so you see, I'm putting this furniture in, and at first I made the kitchen pretty dark, but I ended up switching it to light because even though I could not find a good color palette, not necessarily color palette, but like color combination, I really wanted to use these counters, so I just made it work, and I think it looks great. Um, yeah. So I just fiddle around, and you'll see me put the bare minimum in the kitchen, and then I'll go back later and add the appliances. I was all over the place. I just wanted to get things planned out and made sure I got everything I needed to. Um, so I'm starting to place these cabinets down. So about this family, I already explained two sisters. They were probably pretty close. I also thought that they might have a dog or two, most likely two, more small dogs, and so I add pet stuff later on. Um, and I also thought that they might enjoy time together and not necessarily care about seeing each other without clothes on and stuff like that. Or it could be a lesbian couple. That could be as well. They could be a lesbian couple, but then again, the beds are separated, so I would expect it to just be sisters. Um, but it's up to you. This apartment is located in on 21st Chic Street, uh, across the hall from Penny Pizzazz. This is one of my favorite apartments to decorate, even though it's pretty long and skinny. I've done a bunch of different designs for this, most of them off camera, unfortunately. So you see, I'm working on the floor, and as I said, I go through a lot of phases with this flooring. I don't exactly know what to put, but I end up making it work. With a nice bright and cheery yellow tile, and you see, I'm starting to make this a very dark kitchen, but I think that it just clashed with the living room too much because they were right next to each other. There was no wall or anything separating them, so I end up changing it all to light stuff like this. Um, and I think it ends up looking good. That's where I finally find the right tile, and I'm adding more appliances, but this isn't the rest of the appliances. I'm just adding like a coffee pot. I expect them to work some sort of job. I'm not exactly sure which. But now you see I'm moving on to the entry room. As I said, this is probably one of my favorites. Uh, it's really nicely decorated in my mind, and even though it's pretty small, in total, the laundry room and entryway is only a 4 by 2. Um, I think it ends up looking pretty good. I add like typical stuff, uh, dishwashing detergent, shelves, ironing board. I add a dresser there because, like I said, they probably don't care if they see each other getting dressed. If they do care, they could just change inside of the dresser. Because I had forgotten about one in the bedroom. But I'm just moving this platform back so that the door can fit. And in the end, I end up having some extra wall space that you'll see in the screenshots, just filled by a bunch of curtains that actually give light off. It's not actually in the time lapse, but I think it just filled up the space. So you see, I'm decorating this room now, and I just went for such a nice look. I think it ends up looking pretty fine. Uh, it took me a little bit of trial and error to see exactly what was right, but I think I all got it pretty good in the end. I try to add this nice crazy rug, but I end up just adding this blue one instead, and some plants because everyone cannot live without plants, right? Yeah, cannot live without plants. I add this art just to cover the wall. And this dining area, oh boy, did this dining area take me a while to figure out. I don't. I think it's my least favorite part of the house is the dining area. I just don't think it looks good. It took me so long. This is not the end result. Uh, you're welcome. I end up finding a nice rug and combine the two rugs together or something. I think it ends up looking nicely bad. It's not very good. So I changed that open door for this loft door. Even though I wanted to really try that open door, I really enjoy that loft door as well, and it provided space for the dog bowls. So I wish I could use that loft sliding door more, but I can't. So you see, I'm right now. You can see that I'm adding that rug. It's blue and green, nice and neutral, but colorful at the same time. And I just line up a that dining table with just some simple chairs right there. And I think I add something else on top. Now these shoes, I really enjoy my shoe rack that I make. It's not quite yet, but I use probably one of my favorite base game shelves. It's pretty flat, pretty uh deep. That one. And it has some nice swatches and slotting. So I just stack it on top of each other to make a nice shoe rack. And I even over here, uh, that's where I add the flowers and the food bowl. As I said, I'm all over this. So it's kind of hard to narrate. We got two beds, two nice pastel dog beds, and I think this is when nope, I barely remember this build. I added these nice neutral things just to calm it down because the apartment is pretty loud. Not in a bad way, but this is my third favorite room technically. First is the laundry room, second is the entryway, third is the bathroom. All the utility stuff. I think it ends up looking perfectly cluttered. I use a very nice CC pack that I will definitely be listing down below. I think it's 6 am's most recent or someone else's. Forgive me if it's not 6 am. Uh, but I will be looking that one down below because I think it just looks very nice. Especially with the rest of my CC. And this plant and all the clutter I add, amazing. I recommend 6am, PRSM, Hey Harry, Lil Dicka, and so many more if you're looking for Maxis Match. When I first started getting the CC, I really wanted like alpha everything because I was like inspired by Claire Chabon. And even though I still really like that style, I tend to lean more towards Maxis Match just so that I can have such a wide variety. I have this really modern shelf, and I'm not sure if it actually fits in this build, but it was the only shelf that was like the right size for all the clutter I wanted to add. So I ended up going with it. Uh, we have multiple towels, but only one bathrobe, which is probably a problem. Probably a problem. Whatever. Uh, and at this point, I'm mostly just adding the small details. I'm not adding any significant furniture anymore. It's mostly just cluttering up. As I said, I love my bathroom cluttering up, especially that shelf and the shelf that's to the left of the sink. If you get another peek of it, that's definitely my favorite uh, cluttering areas. And now the kitchen, I add a mild amount, and I add this bread box. I love that swatch of bread box. I just never get a chance to use it because I'm always doing neutral builds and never colorful builds. I would love to explore this style more because I just find it really fun to do, and you have so many more options, and you don't have to worry about matching. Because I definitely did not worry about matching anywhere here. Because believe it or not, look around your house. How much of your wood objects that didn't come in a set actually match? Because the only wood that matches in my room is a set that we got when we bought the house and a bunk bed that my grandfather made me. So you often don't have matching things. So don't try to make that in The Sims. I know it's something we hope, but it's not going to happen. And there are so many misconceptions in The Sims. I should make a video about it soon because there are so many things you don't do in The Sims that you always do in real life, and vice versa. It's really interesting to me, but I'm just doing final touch ups, adding like alarms, this smoke thing that stops the fire, a little more clutter. See, I'm looking for curtains, but I don't find them until after I've stopped the recording. We got a nice wine rack because I thought they're probably moderate alcoholics, not like abusing it or anything, just drinking time to time. Because all adults have their flaws. Not that alcoholism is a flaw, but it is. Uh, and I added this nice waste and recycling basket. Although I realized I did not put a normal trash basket in there. I'm sorry, people who love the environment. I made a boo boo, and I did not add the third trash bin. But we're just adding the last final touches, and I'll see you guys next time. Keep around for the screenshots, please. please.